Start the recording first. Okay, guys, it is Friday, September the 30th, 2022. And it's just before 11 a.m. and we're going to start the presentations. And can I hand you over now to Dan and his team, who's going to go first? Good luck, guys.
Good morning. Hello, Rafa, Alex, Zubair, Ravi, Anthony. Firstly, foremost, thank you for choosing us as your contractor of choice. My name's Dan Price, and I am BIM manager, site manager for Women's Field Construction. If I allow the other guys to introduce themselves quickly as well.
Yeah, hi, my name's Andy, and I am a manager and security management facilitator. I'll pass you on to the next person.
Hi, it's Mohammed. I'm the first aider and site engineer. So I pass it to the next person.
Hello, my name is Magnus. I am a civil engineer. I'll pass to the next person.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
I'm the welfare and mental health officer for the site.
Good work, team. Good work, team. Right, so a little bit about the site plan, location and plan. So the plan, as just to double check, you can see the screen and the layout here. So the site is on the outskirts of the town of Bramley. Our site here in the middle, these six plots here of traditional brick and block construction is what we are building. Our green line denotes the perimeter and our site security. Enough on that. A little bit about the site. We've got a two-story factory building over here to the southwest corner, and there is planning consent for the 18 housing on the greenfield site, 6 of which we are building. These 6 green buildings here are built, and these 6 pink are already built. So we're having to work in and around a live site. Also to the north of site, there is a school playground and a farmer's entrance here, which is 24 hours, 7 days a week access required, and some existing houses. Bordering the site is Scottley Road here, 30 mile per hour restriction. 40 mile per hour on this Bramley Road to the south, with on there an overhead power line, which we'll have to coordinate and communicate with our supply chain and delivery vehicles to ensure they're aware of that when coming to site, lorries, etc. And then we have School Road, which gets very busy during school hours. So we've got certain restrictions, but I'll go through that later with the traffic management plan. There is a public footpath at the top here, which 60% of pupils use to get to the school. The other 40% use the path running by the site. So we're going to have to coordinate and carry out some works. And this section of pavement here is in need of repair. So we've got some works which I'll go on to later on. The ponds on site, so this red line denotes the like tree protection that we've got to an exclusion zone, and also this existing pond which we inherited, we will be filling in to a certain extent to allow us to finish constructing the roads to join the whole development together. So that's a little bit of insight on the building and our project and the local surrounding areas. I will pass you over to Andrew, who will go on to location of cabins.
You're right there, guys. So in terms of the cabins, as you can see on the site plan there, they're numbered. You've got numbers 1 to 6. Now, we've placed these strategically for several reasons. Firstly, we wanted them to be as far away from the working area as possible, and equally away from the exclusion zone, which you can see is the lake and the trees. We wanted them equally to be close to the entrance and exit point for security reasons. And because they're contained within the perimeter, they're obviously secure as well. In terms of the size of the cabins, we've based the size allocation to this on the amount of persons that we believe we have on site at any one time, which is around the 40-person mark. And therefore, we've got 2 cabins. Now, the first one, where you will see it's number 1, it says site office and welfare. This is actually one cabin with another one stacked up on top. And it has the access going up to the top of the scaffolding staircase, which is obviously handrailed and toe boarded. And the layout of the cabins is, as I say, on the ground floor on office block number 1 that you can see on the map is the canteen area with the rest area. Within the rest area, that's just sort of, well, yeah, whatever, it's self-explanatory, canteen and rest area. And on the first floor, you have both female and male toilet and shower areas. Yeah, sorry, once again, on the ground floor, sorry, I'll retract, is the site office. And within the site office, it's got the first aid room there as well. So just moving forward to the storage requirements. So where you can see building number 2, which is the material and subcontract container storage area, we've based this here, again, just for the reason that it's behind the site office and the gatehouse. So before you get any access to there, you're going to be inducted, etc. You're going to be vetted before you go on site, and therefore it's going to be it's then going to be we know that it's going to be the people that access it have been cleared and passed to be able to get inside. Now, equally, as you can see, there's a road where you can see the little hand cursor. It goes along. That's it. Cheers, mate. You can go along where it says Greenfield site existing entrance. You can drive up there, go up, and then turn a left. And you can see you've got like a little zebra crossing bit there, but you've got one on the return there as well between building 1 and 6. Now, we've allocated the storage room there, so if we do get any deliveries, we can get vehicle or plant access up to there for unloading, which equally minimises the distance for manual handling to store the stuff within the store. Clearly, the objective for this is to upkeep sensible management of materials, reducing waste cost whilst improving site safety and helping to protect the environment. So in the storage number 2, which is the contents, again, we're trying to minimize this and not have excess surplus and just put in there what we can. The contents of this will be plants stored on a racking system. So as you walk in, you'll have a racking system on one side, which will have plant on it. And then on the other side, you will have materials again on another racking system. So therefore, it will create an aisle in the middle, which will be easy to maintain and have good health and safety, and prevent any sort of trip hazards and bring any potential injuries down to a minimum. Now, if you can look at building number 5, that's the cost storage. We've done that separate, and again, we've tried moving that further away from sites. Equally, we've done it in the main route of the road there, next to the skip stuff, so we can get things in and out off the road for deliveries as well. Now, the cost container itself is independent storage unit, and it's easily identifiable because it's got the signs on the outside of it to show that it's for cost storage. This is a restricted unit and only trained personnel are able to access this. It's leak proof, reinforced and specially designed to house its contents. Inside it, it includes a sump to collect any spillage as well. So the contents within this storage will only contain anything potentially hazardous substances such as flammables, liquids, gases and chemicals. The contents within this unit will be stored off the ground level in individual vented lockable lockers, whereby each locker will be labelled on the door as to what it contains. The objective of this storage unit is to store hazardous substances and isolating them away in a way that it will reduce potential risk of harm to all persons on site, and allowing the use of such substances to be monitored and access to them is totally restricted. Just lastly, outside of the COSH container, there is a facility, a cleaning facility as well, just to you know, have a wash down, etc., etc. So now moving on to the site security. Our objective for this is to encapsulate the work and construction site away from the general public. And in doing so, it will protect persons within site, and equally members of the public outside will also be protected from any potential risks from within the construction site. In securing the site, this also aids the prevention of accidents and injuries and potential theft, vandalism and terrorism. As you can see from what Dan's mentioned earlier, we've got a perimeter fencing, and the way this has been constructed is in a form of a timber frame hoarding going all the way around the perimeter at 2.4 meters in height. However, at the back where it's highlighted in blue, we've got that at a higher level of 3 meters, just because it's a boundary against the school there. If you can just squeeze the picture so you can get a better view of that. Equally on the gate on building number 1, if you can just zoom out there, Dan, where you can see building number 1, where's the gatehouse? Can you
3.
Yeah, there, number 3. Number 3 is the gatehouse. Now, as you can see, the gatehouse is directly near the entrance of the site. This is staffed with 2 security operatives on a 24-hour shift rotation per day. And within the gatehouse, the security operatives will also be monitoring a CCTV screens, which give them a visual on all areas on site where we've installed the CCTV cameras. The communication within the gatehouse, the security operatives have a phone line with all the relevant phone numbers for staff, all the managers, supervisors, first aiders, etc. They also have a radio point whereby individual radios have been issued out to further security operatives that we have on the site. Now, as you're entering the site, you can see there's a circle there. Cheers, mate. And that is we've got a turnstile there. So any visitors plant deliveries or transportations will go through the main entrance. However, any visitors that are coming on foot will go through the turnstile, but either one of those will have to sign into the gatehouse first, and when they're signing in to the gatehouse, they have to give their name, they have to give the company they work for, the people that they're actually wanting to meet on the site, and if they are coming on a vehicle, they've got to give their registration number as well. And on leaving the site, they have to then go back and sign themselves out. Now, once the operatives are on site that are working there, when they sign in the morning, they will be given a key card so they can use the access to get through the turnstiles. But at the end of each day, they have to hand that card back in and then just re-sign it out the following day. Now, there is a few preventative measures, and that's if the CCTV fails for, you know, any unforeseen electrical fault. We do have securities positioned within the site, and they're circling the perimeter of the perimeter fence there. So this acts as a kind of physical kind of visual, where every hour we ask them to recommunicate with the site office just for a welfare check, and equally, as they're doing a visual around the perimeter wall there, they can also check to see if any of the wall has been compromised, taking into consideration that we are near a school, and on the main road that there is a bus stop as well. So in terms of lighting for security, we have positioned lighting around site, and again we've backed this up with a generator just in case there's any unforeseen electrical faults. And these lights will be on the agreed hours of the daily site hours. In terms of the security for the storage containers and the welfare buildings, all buildings on site are opened on site by the on-site security, and they are locked by on-site security at the end of the agreed hours of the working day. Now, the site operatives, the site security officers that we use, they're from a highly reputable company called Derlin Security. They're all former ex-military. We did use a company before called Mansfield Security, but they've had a bit of a bad reputation. So we've managed to go with these guys instead. They're pretty good. They're fully trained, they're competent, they're vetted. They've all been inducted, and they all adhere to the site safety rules. They wear their steel toe caps, they wear their boots, and they wear a high-vis jacket. They are easily identifiable because they say security on their high-vis jackets, and they are all first trained. And as I say, they have their radios, and they do welfare checks, liaising with the site security office on an hourly basis.
And
So, that is the end of the site security, the storage requirements, and the location of cabins. I'm now going to pass you over to Mohammed, who will take you through the emergency procedures and arrangements. So thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you. Dan, can you stop sharing, please? Dan, can you stop sharing, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hi. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm covering emergency procedure and arrangement. There are basically three kinds of emergency: accident emergency, and a fire emergency, and environmental emergency. So on an event of emergency, the points you need to consider are arrangement for the emergency rescue and resuscitation equipment, raising the alarm, and safeguarding the rescuers, fire safety, and all these bits and pieces you can see. The law is the management of health and safety at work regulation 1999, which covered the emergencies. So for accident emergency, the nearest hospital is Bramley Hospital, and we also have an ambulance facility only 500 meters to the north of the existing Greenfield site entrance. Now you can see the accident plan. In event of emergency, you see the green arrow that will direct you to the point number 8, and you see the point number 8 is green, and it shows the arrow. That means it is an assembly point. So in the event of any accident emergency, the workers will rush to the assembly point, and there is an emergency contact number for Andy with the site manager. He can call a hospital or ambulance and sort it out. And there are two first aider, which is Mohammed and Magno. They can give him a first aid as well. The environmental emergency, if there is any cost waste found on site or any contaminated, we can call a head office when we have a health and safety department who can arrange environmental cleanup contractor to urgently attend the site. For fire emergency, if there is in case of any fire, we can call the fire brigade, and we have got a fire brigade package for that. And is the site manager. There's an emergency contact number. And in case of emergency, the site safety manager is Mohammed. You have their number. You can call him. Nearest hospital is Bramley Hospital. Nearest police station is Bramley Police Station, and nearest fire station is Bramley Fire Station. And that's a health and safety fire plan sheet. Fire safety plan. You see the red line, that's the fire escape route, and it's the same as the accident emergency plan. And there's the fire escape route, and it directs you to the point of assembly. And behind the building, you see the red squares. They're actually fire points. In case of emergency, you can get 8 from there. There's also number 7. That's also a fire point. That is for the canteen and the site office. And we have got some daily checks and monthly checks, weekly checks. Okay. The arrangements of our fire, we have got a access arrangements, fire points and firefighting equipment, which I have shown behind the building and on the point number 7. Fire alarms is on number 7, where you can trigger the alarms. And fire escape route I have shown you with the red arrow. And assembly point is the number point 8. I have shown you the assembly point. And that's the our evacuation plan. In event of fire, we on the point 7, we have got a fire point, and the alarm is there. We can operate the fire alarm, or every building has got a fire alarm. We can raise from there. Leave the building by the nearest exit, which has been shown by the red line. Report to the nearest assembly point. That's point 8. The don'ts, we have some don'ts. Don't stop to collect the personal belongings. Switch off all powered equipments, and do not enter until told it is safe to do so. And this is our fire safety checklist of what we have to do and what we don't have to do. What we need to do is access the fire risk and update them periodically as the project progresses and on-site condition change. Communicate the significant fire risk and the preventive measures to all on site. Significant hazards and risks, and we can say tick yes or no. Now I hand over to the next person.
Okay, just wary of time, so I'm going to share my screen again. As part of the introduction, I run through the layouts, and I think the arrows. I'll just delve in a bit with a bit more detail, but I will make it short and snappy. Yeah, so direction of traffic. So logistically, this project is difficult. Obviously, we've got a school, we've got school drop-offs, school collections. So a few notes down the bottom here. We've got site hours between 8 and 5 Monday to Friday. Communications in orders, we will place stipulations that all deliveries will be booked in with the site management before coming to site, and they'll be restricted to no deliveries between 8 and 9:30, 2:45 and 3:45, or after 4:30, sorry. Obviously we don't want to be offloading at 4:30 and there till 6. So yeah, deliveries coordination and management via our gateman on the site gate with pedestrians and vehicle access. We have traffic coordinators who will monitor, take maybe any complaints or any issues raised by the surrounding public. So we'll field them, review, monitor, and then go back to them with an answer as to what we're doing to correct any potential issues. As you know, as best wills in the world, there may be some issues, but we will do our best to nip them in the bud as quickly as possible. Yeah, and our gateman, banksman, Joe Blogs will be contactable, and that will be on the front of the that will be on the orders as well, so that any delivery drivers, any vehicles coming to site will be able to communicate and let them know they're coming, so he can be ready in order to get them onto site, offloaded and back out as well. So we're going to coordinate all of the deliveries to site. So yeah, we got the 30 mile per hour, 40 mile per hour zones. We've got the school road, which gets very busy, cars parked along here during the hours of school drop off and school pickup. Factory building is live, so we have no parking here, hence why we're just in time deliveries with vehicles coming onto site, not backed up, causing chaos along the road. We've agreed in principle to rent this piece of the car park for our operatives, and maybe a bit of lay down materials, etc. It'll all evolve for the lads to come across site and through the turnstile. When we're on site, we have segregation, so pedestrian segregation and vehicle segregation. Obviously, we always lose if we come into contact with moving plant and machinery, so we segregate that, and that goes on through site. So this yellow dashed is pedestrian routes, which will be clearly barriered off, metal barriers to delineate and demarcate pedestrian routes so that plant doesn't veer into their paths and vice versa. We have pedestrian crossings set up and signage as required. Pink is the notice boards, so daily, weekly updates as works on site and hazards evolve, change, and just so everyone coming through gets a good visual, can see what's going on site, and keep them aware and up to date on what is going on site. When they're on site, we have a one-way system in place. Obviously, this will change throughout the site, the kind of time frame of the project as we progress, but we'll try to avoid reversing at any point, and always continue on a forward travel with any vehicles. Offload into the container storage area, designated area. Obviously, housekeeping is key, important. All trained personnel, CPCS cards and certificates of competence. And on their way out, as it is a greenfield site, there will be mess, although we plan to lay stone and make all these roads temporary to remove the chance of any soil being trapped back out onto the road and us having further complaints. Again, that goes back to being part of the considerate constructor scheme, and abiding by the rules and guidelines in that. And then at the exit, before they leave, there'll be a wheel wash, so we'll wash all the wheels off again to prevent mud and mess being dragged out onto the public highway. And if needs be, we've got an order set up with a road sweeper to sweep the surrounding roads again if needs be. Was there anything else? Just have a look. Speed limits, segregation, crossing points, monitoring systems. Do for me on traffic management. On to document control. So as a standard on document control on our sites in the office, we will have. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, document control. So following documents will be held on file in our office during the life of the project. So I'll just go through important ones. The construction phase health and safety plan, the F10, due to our project being notifiable, and the CDM regs with the timeframes and durations on site. Risk assessment method statements for all the supply chain will be submitted, signed off and filed in alphabetical numerical order for easy access. There'll be a first aid needs assessment. Mohammed's gone through the fire risk assessment and all things fire and emergency procedures. That will also be stored in the on file. We've got the emergency grab pack, which will be displayed on the external hoarding for emergency services to gain information on the site before they enter site. in case of emergency, service avoidance plan, temporary works coordinator, environmental plans, travel plans, inspections and registers of equipment, cost register, all our cost items, training and competency cards and information maintained, our permitting system for high risk activities, and our QA files. So that will be maintained on site. I will now hand you over to David for his section.
Thank you. Can you put the map up, please, Mohammed? Again, site map.
I'll
Go down.
put it up. 1 second. There we go, mate.
Brilliant, thank you. So, as Andy said, the site manager, the welfare office is positioned on where number 1 is. It's a large two-story construction. The top floor is a site office, and underneath we've got the whole of the ground floor, which is a large area. It's divided into 2. The first part is the canteen room and the welfare restroom area with notice boards, and the other half of the side is the shower block, changing rooms and lockers. We've got 20 lockers in there, but they're subdivided 2, so in effect you've got 40 lockers altogether if needed. The canteen consists of 42 seats. There's 6 seats for the 6 tables. Sorry, the tables seat 6, so there's 7 tables. There's 42 chairs, 3 microwaves, and 2 hot water heaters. We've got a welfare notice board on display, along with a health and safety work poster, a first aid poster, naming the first aiders and the nearest hospital, which is Bramley Hospital. And we've also got on, just for the social side, we've got a poster on there for a staff trip to Mansfield, but so far there's no takers on that one for some reason. Don't know why. Yeah, we've got the cleaning stations. There's 2 cleaning stations with antiseptic wipes and lotions, and they're positioned both at the front of the welfare office and the back, where there's a smoking area at the back. If you can see number 6, so there's actually 2 entrances, one in and on the back of the welfare office. So we positioned a sanitized station on both the front and the back. The toilets and the showers are both main drainage. We've fitted out them so that we've got main drainage and mains water. The shower blocks, there's a block of 5 with the changing room, like I said, and they're unisex, and they're all secured independently. So if we have got female employees, they'll feel safe and comfortable using the showers, because inside the shower cubicles, there's a little changing area there as well, like a little seat and hooks and things. The first aid area was within the restroom area at the side. There's some easy chairs and a table. So that, for example, anyone's got any welfare or mental health issues, then they can obviously come off the actual site and come into the welfare office. We can talk about whatever problems they've got. The whole building is heated electrically. There's electric radiators fitted in there as well, with the canteen and in the shower blocks. And that's it. Yeah, that's the welfare side of the business. Pass you on to the next person.
No.
All right. I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. Tony, I'm just aware of time. How long have we got?
You ran it over 3 minutes 22 seconds ago.
Oh,
Carry on the meeting, guys. Come on, we're all enjoying
Can you
it.
see that?
Keep
No.
going.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
make note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see- Okay.
What's happening?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
there.
All right. So these are actually the signs we're gonna use on site. This would be at the entrance, the information, site contact, and actually we have different categories for the signs, prohibition signs, which is when a person must not do something on site. So we got different signs here for pedestrians, what's not allowed. Also mandatory signs. It's more to actually to give instructions so the person can do what it's supposed to do. Like basically, there are many signs for PPE or different instructions to be followed on site. Those are all mandatory signs, and yeah, limitation or restriction signs also. These are more to like to set a limit, whether it could be for speed or also depends for a specific value also, and this would be used for traffic. And also the warning signs, which is it's signs that are warning about danger situations or hazards, even information about what products, emergency information, safety signs also. Normally it's green and white. Have this. And also the fire safety signs, which gives instructions about the direction to find the extinguishers and fire alarm, the emergency telephone, and also the site rules. Actually, we've got like plenty of different rules, but all of them actually it's to keep people safe. Yeah, it's the main purpose of them. Yeah, wear your PPE at all time. It's just do not start working without the PPE. So this is a rule. Do not start work without an induction. Another rule. Yeah, to keep the site tidy and organized to avoid hazards. Yeah, never put yourself or the others at risk. Follow safe signs and procedures. Never work in unsafe areas. Report defects and near misses. Never tamper with equipment. Use the right equipment. It's just giving information about the right equipment, because sometimes carrying out a task with not the proper tool could be dangerous for the person or the others around. And also, in case of doubt, always ask a supervisor or someone who is competent, who has information about any kind of doubt or things. And also we have different other rules, but basically comes to safety of all people on site. Yeah, that's it. I'll pass to the next.
Hi, it's Mohammed who is doing the induction procedure. Dan, can you stop sharing, please?
Magno, stop
Yeah.
sharing.
Stop sharing, please.
Just, okay.
Hi, I'm back again. I'm doing the site induction. The site is on the outskirts of the town of Bramley. Project description: the construction of 6 brick and block houses in Bramley Close. The site manager is Andy. Site supervisor Dan Price. First aider Muhammad Alam and Magno. Welfare officer David Watt. Emergency contact number, that's Andy's number. Outline of the project: the construction of 6 brick and block house on the north side of Bramley School and there's some movement from the school from the peoples, and Dan mentioned them. Now I come to the site layout plan, and everything has been explained already. I'm not going through again. That's a site plan. Site access. The site access from the school side road, and the site office and welfare facilities have been shown on the toilets. The facilities are there. I think David has mentioned them. If there is any green zone, the green zones are for pedestrian. Smoking area is next to the site entrance. That we have an assembly point at a number point 8. A nearest hospital or ambulance. The nearest hospital is Bramley Hospital, and there is a ambulance station approximately 500 meters to the north. We have got a login logout register book. That's a induction form. Actually, not the form. What we need to confirm on induction. Record of the health and safety induction. Name, occupation, location, and introduction to the job, and law, policy, a safe system of work, risk assessment. This is the checks. Equipment, tools, and machinery. Manager sign and employees sign. And guidance. You're responsible. Be aware that along with the employer, you are responsible for your own and others' health and safety at work. Fire, be aware of fire hazards. If a fire breaks out, raise the alarm, leave by your next exit. First aid, contact Mohammed or Magno.
Yep.
Accidents can be avoided. Always report accidents, incidents, near misses, and dangerous occurrence to the manager. Machinery equipment, ensure that when you pass or go to near to the excavator or near the machine, or you can keep an eye contact with the digger driver and give a thumbs up, then move. And ensure that you know how to use your equipment safely, and be aware of the health and risk associated with the equipment. Manual handling, I think this is covered. Control of substance hazardous to health cost. Ensure you know how to use also substances safely. Make yourself aware of the cost assessment, and we have got a environmental emergency procedure to deal with that, and that has been explained. This is general safety check sheet. Can safe working areas be provided? This is what we need to check on site. Is there a secure working area, and areas for storage material and waste skips? We have got a cost skip that has been shown. Are there adequate emergency escapes? That is the fire escape plan and accident emergency route that has been shown as well. Is there a suitable fire plan? Yes, we have a suitable fire plan and rescue plan for it. And risk assessment has been done. We have got air welfare facilities. And do managers and supervisors require competency card? Yes, we have the CSCS card and black card, and SMSTS card for the site managers. Are the register on site for a statutory inspection? Yes, I have said we have got login and logout book. And at the end of the name, position, and signature. That's it from site induction procedure and checklists. I'm passing to the next person.
Okay, if you can stop sharing, Magno.
Yeah.
I'll keep this next one very short and sweet. So we're on to permissions and notifications. So like I say, it is a complex site, but as a competent contractor, we will be controlling high-risk activities in-house via permits, using a permit system. on an application on our site tablets, as well as the paperwork. So we operate dig permits, hot work permits for high risk activities, ladders and the like, listed there. The idea of these is to control and ensure that all considerations have been made to minimise the chances of a minor major injury occurring, and also making sure that everyone is considering the right hazards, risks, and working in a safe manner every morning or every time we come to set up the permits. Notifications wise, so like I said, we are under CDM, we are notifiable, so we will display the F10 certificate. We've applied for that, that will be displayed. I referred to earlier on the damaged pavements which the school children and just general public use to the west of site by our hoarding to get to school and the like. So we will have to put into play a Section 50 agreement with the local authority to put some traffic lights, close down the lane, in the process of probably getting our site temporaries onto site with our water and our electric, working on the highway, and then we'll resurface the pavement and return the flow of traffic to normal, both vehicle and the pavement. We have got to fill in a section of the ponds, which will probably come under a license of sorts, and also with that, with it being a greenfield site, we will need to soil strip and remove soil from the top of the site and take it off site, because we won't need to reuse it. Also, we will have that tested, sampled, and then have that removed from site to via a competent haulier contractor to a landfill or another site as under environmental regulations. And we'll also contract with utilities companies, Southern Water, Southern Power, Southern Gas, Southern Broadband, to coordinate service onto site and into the homes. And again, that will cause some disruption in the highway, which will need certain section agreements to allow those works to be undertaken and completed. And throughout the project, there'll be multiple communications via newsletters, social media, whatever means necessary, a notice board to communicate with the local neighbours, schools, companies, of site works, up and coming activities, to make sure we're coordinating our works with them, and being a considerate contractor, minimising our impact on them. So I will sum that up there and hand you over to David for our mental health policy.
Thank you. Mohammed, can you put the mental health and welfare policy up, please?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so this is Women's Field Construction Limited's mental health and well-being policy to promote a positive environment that promotes and supports a positive state of mental health and well-being for our employees and those who we work with. The policy aims to promote good mental health and well-being of all staff through effective communication for our policies and best practice, to increase the awareness of our workforce regarding issues associated with mental health and well-being, and to provide support to all staff experiencing mental health problems while in employment and upon returning from absence, while preventing discrimination. So how do we achieve these policy aims? Women's Field Construction Limited will promote a culture of good mental health and well-being to all staff as follows: through effective communication designed to raise awareness and understanding about mental health and well-being in construction, by implementing measures at all levels of our organisation to provide a workplace and culture that promotes good mental health, by listening to our staff and adapting workplace policies as required, and implementing the policies and evaluating them through employee feedback. Now we'll do that, we'll have feedback forms in the welfare office, so employees can give us feedback and tell us how to improve. It's an ongoing process to improve, always improve what is already a very robust policy. So how do we put this policy into practice? Well, first of all, we ensure that any employee suffering from mental health illness is treated fairly with the company, with respect and confidentiality, without discrimination, by offering flexible working arrangements where practicable, working with employees to create a culture where bullying, harassment, discrimination and racism is not accepted, providing training and awareness of everyday contributory factors such as stress and excessive workload that undermine your mental health. Ensure that managers and supervisory staff are aware of the obligations to promote a good working environment for all their staff and colleagues. By implementing training and an open door policy to create a culture where staff are able to openly talk about their mental health problems and disclose difficulties without fear of discrimination or reprisal. Number 7, to provide proactive support for individual staff who are experiencing mental health problems within inside and outside the workplace in a positive manner. Number 8, to encourage staff to feed back to the line management or the designated site welfare officers about factors in their job roles that may induce stress, such as excessive workload, a lack of training for a particular task, or overstretching performance targets. Provide adequate training and enable the employee to meet the requirements of their role. Number 10, to ensure that staff are encouraged to seek the appropriate help through the NHS or a mental health organisation. A list of organisations and contact details are available in the welfare office site office on the wall and on the main site notice board. And number 11, providing a commitment to employees that the company will remediate any factors within the workplace that may be contributing to negative mental health issues. And number 12, finally, in situations where a staff member experiences a period of absence from work due to mental health, ill health, working with the employee to develop a return to work plan that provides the best opportunity for the employee to return to work as soon as practicable. Thank you, that's our policy.
Okay, and then
I think, Dan, we're just coming on to anything else now, aren't we?
anything else? Yeah, so final bits. I know we're overrunning. Apologies for that, all this good information. Can't get enough, can you? So everything else, just a list of items that we will be carrying out throughout the duration of the project that don't fall under so much the headers we've just covered. So at the completion of the project, we will issue you with a health and safety file with all the information on the as-built project for your future maintenance and operation. We're part of the Considerate Constructors scheme, and as part of that, we will plan to visit the local neighbourhoods, i.e. the schools with either good site, and carry out health and safety talks within the premises to make them aware of the hazards and risks and how dangerous a construction site is potentially. Considerate parking. Obviously, we've partnered with the factory across the road to park our vehicles for a duration. Use of technology and the management of the safety as well, safety quality via an application to log. And again, this takes away from the use of paperwork as well, so an environmental factor there. We'll have bi-weekly community newsletter posting, notice board, and also letter drop, and a monthly community engagement meeting to field any issues that the local community may have, and have that discussion and get that sort of common grounds, and build that rapport with the local community. Part of the falls in clocks with all of our suppliers, Speedy, for instance, clocks registered, falls registered, compliant, considerate contractors. Regular operative awards for exceptional compliance, whether it be health and safety, environmentally, or for something exceptional quality wise. It could take the form of a £50 voucher, or sending groups to breakfast, for instance, on us. So yeah, we're trying to build build rapport and yeah, within the supply chain and the local community. And environmental considerations, obviously we've got to consider our TPOs, trees, pond pollution prevention, hence why we've got the fencing, logging of waste transfer licenses for any excavation waste. We've got the wheel wash, road sweepers. We're going to put up some bat and bird boxes. All of our timber, waste timber will be taken off site, collected and reused rather than go to landfill. And we may put photovoltaics, rainwater harvesting, and zoning of welfare cabins to make them more efficient and minimise their environmental impact. So yeah, that is additional things we've considered as part of our submittal to yourselves. That is the end of our presentation.
Right, guys, let's before we go any further with the questions, let's give that a round of applause, as is traditional at this point. Well done. Okay, so can I introduce, or can I encourage, should I say, the first question, please?
Can I start first, please? This is Robert.
Oh, Robert.
First, guys, I'd like to say well done. I've seen a few good points, to be honest. Like some of them, we never thought about them. So one would be the very good visual well representation of the pedestrian vehicle segregation. We also mentioned in our presentation, but yours is really well detailed. Well done with that.
What do you mean your presentation? You're the clients. What are you talking about, Robert? Are we in role play here, Robert? What are we talking about? Let's stay in character, please, guys.
All right.
Come on.
Go in on us.
All right. Okay. Another point, good point that I actually seen it and scored very good as. It's been a detailed and comprehensive presentation, to be honest. It took a bit longer. We've seen that.
Have you got any questions? This is a question
Yeah,
and answer session.
Yeah, I have a question. So I
Right,
started with the
okay.
positive stuff. And then now I would like to propose something. So there's two items. First of all, let's see. You know the site office location. Can you put on the sketch you have of the office?
Yeah, coming right up. Yeah.
Okay, site office and welfare facilities. You represented as an area, but physically there, as actually they are, I think you need to have some kind of L-shape facility. So you'll see, you need to put them, first of all, you need to have 3 containers. One will be for the toilets, and that has to be totally separate. One has to be for the canteen, totally separate, and one for the site office. So just speaking of, you're going to have 3 units in there. Either you put them in an L shape or stack them on top of each other.
They are stacked on top of each other, Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the ground floor, you've got the site office, and upstairs you've got the showers and the toilets.
Would you think it would be better to put them the other way around?
No. I mean, it's personal preference, isn't it? I mean, logistically, when people come into the site, they're not going to walk straight in and go to the toilet. They're going to want to go and see the site management, aren't they?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Coach area, the second one with the coach area. Do you think that might have a kind of hazard, let's say, for any traffic, let's say, possible traffic accident? If we have, for instance, a lorry truck with a bad brakes or something.
Yeah, that's a good question. But as you can see, we've based it on the 90-degree angle at the bottom right-hand corner where it says number 5. Yeah. And if you look where it says number 8 and number 4, where you've got that pedestrian road, that's been measured. And as you can see, that's quite a wide turnaround point. So we did take that in consideration. And given the speed restriction as well, and on-site security walking around the site, we feel quite comfortable that it's all being overseen as people enter or exit the site.
All right, okay.
Robert, another reason is the coarse waste should be away from the site. That's why it has been put on a corner.
Right, okay.
It's all bunded and barriered to protect against any impacts.
Okay.
So
Another question is, how do you supply with electricity the site?
So I alluded to we've at the top left we've got this damaged section of pavement, which underneath there are services traveling in the pavement. So we're going to, as part of our repair and the section 50, to reroute to keep the pedestrians, but shut down a lane of the road. We're going to bring the services onto site.
Have you done this arrangement previously? So you have
then repair the pavement.
No, but my question is, have you done this previously? So you have like a temporary supplying of the site with electricity directly from the main.
Yes, that's our temporary supply, and then for our permanent, we'll have to come off of this Bramley Close road, which is already built. There are services running through there. We can bring them onto site as well. So, yeah, that is considered. We've got our temporary supply, and then when we switch over to the permanent, and we finish up the project.
Brilliant. You cover everything. Good.
And that's 5 minutes, guys. So that's it. We haven't got any time for any more questions. So, yeah, sorry, guys.
May I ask something?
Well, it's up to it's go on then. Why not? Why not? I ain't got no
That's gonna
plans
be
for
a quick
tonight.
one. Where do you think you're gonna fix that path?
Sorry?
When do you think you're gonna fix that path?
That will be early in the project, along with infilling of this pond to form this road. So that'll be early in the earlier in the project. But obviously, we got to apply for the license, and that takes between 6 and 12 weeks to come back. So in that, yeah, we could be waiting any time.
Are you gonna do any put any?
Raf, you asked for one question.
Okay.
Pushing it